I'm Terri Savelle Foy, your cheerleader of dreams. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to this podcast, just push the little button right there to receive consistent teaching tools and tips to live your dreams. In fact, this is our 500th episode, 500 podcasts, and I want to give you a special gift absolutely free, and I'll give you the code at the very end, so stay tuned. But I want to talk to you real quick about how to wake up with determination. Wake up with determination. Let me just ask you real quick, is God dealing with you about anything? I mean, he's always dealing with us about something, isn't he? It may be the area of weight loss and fitness. You may feel like God's dealing with you about getting serious about your fitness goals. Or it could be financially. You just feel like God's dealing with you about getting things in order, get your debts paid off, get your savings account built up. It could be your ministry. You know inside God's dealing with you about starting a ministry, writing a book, starting a business, going back to school, getting a degree. God's always dealing with us about something. In fact, I heard someone say there's no neutral with God. We're either going forward or we're going in reverse. Well, another phrase I heard was that the worst day in heaven would be when God gives us a glimpse of all that we could have had, all that we could have done, all that we could have been, but for some reason we gave up, we quit, we weren't determined. Well, I want you to get more determined than ever to obey what you know in your heart God's telling you to do. In fact, that word determination, it means resolute, compulsive, stubborn, ambitious, and drive. I want you to get stubborn about your vision, stubborn about your dreams and your goals. And years ago, the Lord really dealt with me about getting stubborn about my financial goals, about getting determined, more determined than ever, to get things in order financially. I've shared previously on a podcast just some of the financial stats that are just crazy when you think about it. Like this, 50% of Americans did not save 1 penny last year. Not a penny. 40% of Americans will spend 110% of their income this year. 65% of Americans literally live paycheck to paycheck and have no budget. Well, Dave Ramsey says if you lost your job and you had no income, no paycheck, could you make it for 3 months with no paycheck? 3 months. Could you make it for 3 weeks with no paycheck? Okay, could you make it till Friday with no paycheck? Well, I was in that boat. In fact, listen to this. 62% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account. 21% don't even have a savings account. Well, Proverbs says, the wise have wealth and luxury, but a fool spends whatever he gets. Well, rotting our fools. For years and years and years, we were fools. Remember that old Aaron Neville song, Everybody Plays the Fool? Well, we did for like a decade. And when the Lord told me it's time to get determined, get firm about your financial goals, I got serious about it. I started waking up a little bit earlier and learning about finances, listening to messages about finances, reading about finances, studying, writing financial goals. In fact, I started making myself get up a little bit earlier to read for 20 minutes on the topic of finances. I subscribed to podcasts about finances. I downloaded apps about budgeting. I, went online. I went to the bank and found out how much I owed on certain things. I wrote my financial goals. I actually made a vision board and put my goals in front of my eyes. Well, the more I, consumed myself with this, the more determined I got to pay off these bills to get healthy financially. In fact, I've heard T.D. Jakes say, I ought to be able to look in your surroundings and know your dream, know your vision. He said, are the books you're reading taking you closer to your dream? Are the seminars you're attending taking you closer to your vision? He said, is what you're doing in private getting you closer to where you want to be in life? Then he said this, show me your checking account and I'll show you your priorities. Well, when you hear stuff like that over and over and over, it changes the way you think. Well, as I began immersing myself in this new knowledge and this new wisdom about finances particularly, well, I got more determined than ever. So in one area in specific, we had a swimming pool. Now, this is crazy. I was Googling swimming pools this morning because I wanted to print a picture of a pool just to show you as an example. Our swimming pool came up in Google. So this is the actual swimming pool that Rodney and I built. So years ago, we built this house, and then later we put the swimming pool in just like a month later. This swimming pool was so much more expensive than we thought. And so we had a loan on the swimming pool. Well, every month we're just paying the minimum amount, paying the loan payment. Well, as I began, immersing myself in this new wisdom about getting out of debt, paying off your bills, we'd paid off our credit cards, we'd paid off all this stuff, but we had this loan on the swimming pool. So every month I'm paying the minimum payment. Well, one day I decided to get serious, get determined to get this thing paid off. So I called the bank. I said, how much do I owe on the swimming pool? They told me the amount. I passed out. Then I got back up. It was more than our first house. Of course, we got married in 91, had a house in 1993. This pool was more than our first house. So I wrote the amount down. And I just started declaring it. Lord, I thank you for God-inspired ideas to pay this swimming pool off. Lord, I thank you that my spirit attracts those God-inspired ideas. Every time we'd pull up and I'd see the pool, I'd say, thank you, Jesus, we swim in a debt-free swimming pool. We got determined more than ever. We started trimming our expenses in other areas and started putting it all towards the swimming pool. Now think about this. A swimming pool payment that we had been paying the minimum amount for 6 years, we paid the whole thing off in 11 months. Why? Because we got determined. We were determined more than ever to pay it off. So I want you to think about, just in your area, whichever area it is that God's dealing with you about, immerse yourself in it. Become determined. Wake up with determination to read, to listen, to subscribe to podcasts. And God's going to honor that, whatever it is that you're supposed to get serious about. And you might say, Terri, when can I do this? I'm so busy. Well, I understand. Jack Canfield said he started making himself read for 20 minutes every morning. And he said, by doing that just a little bit every day, he said, I've read 3,000 books by a simple dose every day. Well, Kurt Kampmeyer, he's the one who taught John Maxwell the importance of personal development, personal growth. He said, he's written over 1,000 principles of success. Someone asked him, they said, of all these principles of success, what is the most important? He said self-discipline, making yourself do what you don't feel like doing, but you know you need to do it. Same with Napoleon Hill. When he wrote, Think and Grow Rich, he also wrote a book called The Master Key to Riches. In the very last line of the entire book, he said the master key to riches is self-discipline. So I want to challenge you to discipline yourself, to get determined, to get up a little bit earlier and learn. Immerse yourself in wisdom in the area that God's dealing with you about. And I believe you're going to see those goals start checking them off one by one. In fact, I want to bless you. In honor of our 500th podcast, I want to give you absolutely free an MP3 teaching that I did called When Payday Comes. Now, all you got to do is click the link in the description and enter the promo code, which is Terri500, and I want to give you this message for free, because if God's dealing with you about financial stability and financial health, this message is going to help you get your money in order. So I want to give you that absolutely free. Just enter the promo code Terri500 and help us celebrate 500 podcasts. Also, share this with a friend. Be sure to subscribe by pushing the little button. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter so I can keep you motivated to live your dreams. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.